Welcome. Oh my gosh, it's day 200 of this sadhana. 200. That's a number of days. Oh, whether it's your 200th time or your first time, I welcome you. I'm Atmadarshan or Laura, and we are using this daily bit of time as opportunity to learn more about ourselves, the world around us, and the transcendental world we often know is there but cannot quite touch. So we're doing this through the Bhagavad Gita, a classic poem that describes the human condition and how we can relieve our suffering. I think I'll just get right to it and read today's verse. So as a reminder, the overall theme for this year is Samatvam, being essentially the same, essentially who you are, no matter what. Because what the Gita is trying to tell us is who we are is fabulous. We're just as we are meant to be. Oh, chapter 6. We've done verse 7, verse 8, now verse 9. So very good verses on finding our equanimity and applying it in our daily lives. Verse 9, I'll be chanting. I'm embracing the song of your soul, the poetic version on the left-hand side. The one excels who is the same to comrades, friends, and enemies, to relatives and to strangers, to evil and to good alike. There's so much we can unpack in this verse. In previous days, in this 200 days, we've talked about being the same toward friends and enemies. So I think I'm going to go right to the final line today. The one who excels, who is the same to good and evil alike. And we might hear that and go, no, I thought the one excels who is good and fights evil. We see this a lot in our Western culture movies. There's often in our movies from the United States, for example, very delineated good guy and bad guy. I think of Star Wars, where the bad guy was all in black, right? And the good guy was wearing white. It can't get any more obvious than that. But life is nuanced. This is something that Krishna is trying to tell Arjun, because Arjun's trying to decide if the situation he is in is good and evil, and therefore if he is good and evil. And many of us will do the same in our lives, especially as we get older. We evaluate, am I in a career that's doing good or doing harm? And notice there's a difference between harm and evil. Am I leading my life in a way that's good or evil? Did I raise my kids? I mean, we have this dichotomy in our mind. Which one of those is us? And one of the things about human ego is the human ego wants to survive, and survive beyond the physical body. The ego wants us to have a reputation, a good reputation. This is something Krishna has talked about a little earlier with Arjun. If you don't do what you're meant to do, your reputation will suffer. Because when the physical body dies, there's still a part of us that really wants to live on. We want to be remembered. And what do we want to be remembered for? Because we're good, because we're evil. The ego is responsible for proclaiming good and evil, not the true self. This could be hard to hear, but there's no good or evil outside of our minds. To be good, there has to be evil to fight against. And I did a whole podcast on this once when I was interviewed. If you can get into the head of someone you consider evil, they actually think they generally, 99.9% of the time, they think they're doing the right thing. And that's why political division in this particular country and around the world is getting so strident. It's not that we see people as having different views from us anymore. We label them evil and we're good. Our country is going toward evil and I have to save it. Both sides think that. Both sides think they're doing good. In fact, there are more than two sides, so every side thinks that. Another definition we could really look at as good or evil. I've talked about this with my cat, or any pets. We say our pet is good when they do what we want them to do, and bad when they're not doing what we want them to do. We can apply this to children, politicians, the world in general. Things are going the way we think they should, it's good. Things are going the way we think they shouldn't, bad. What we have to do is get out of the way with the thinking and just address what is. Arjun can't make up his mind what to do as long as he's stuck in this egoic evaluation. He has to come to realize what is truly meant to happen. And that's one of the beauties of the Mahabharata. It follows the paths of families, of individuals over decades, centuries, and millennia, so that you can see how what seems to be good in one situation turns into bad, turns into good, turns into bad. Anyway, I have a little poem here today. Where is the poem? Okay. The Gita is not the only book to say this, the only poem. Rumi, one of my favorite Rumi poems, and there's one of the translations. There's a link to the one I'm reading below. Not that any one is better or worse. This is just the one I happened to have found early this morning. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. So today I challenge you, can you either notice that when you see good or evil in the world, it's your projection? Hard to do. Or if that's hard, if you can take someone you consider to be bad and try to see the world through their eyes. Because every human is doing the best they can. And I know it's hard to accept sometimes, but it's true. Even you are doing the best you can. Let's practice and just do the best you can as we do our balance pose on each side. Adapt it as you like, and then we'll do a contemplation. Some people will say, I'm a good meditator. My mind stayed still, or I'm a bad meditator because my mind didn't. Maybe we can find a different way to evaluate. All right. I love how YouTube usually pulls this as its like feature of what I'm doing in the video. I'm standing up. Ta-da! There we go. Switch. All right, let's have our contemplation. I'm in the field beyond good or evil here. So maybe do watch, and you can use this time to notice how you might label yourself as good or bad, or if there is someone you consider bad, can you let that go for 5 minutes, or even just try to see things through their eyes? Just, it's hard, but you can do it. I know you can. 5 minutes. Welcome back. From a practical point of view, anything we label as evil in ourselves or others, we tend to not want to see it or to deny it. When we can face things just as they are, then we can deal with them. So I'm dedicating today's practice to Hurricane Beryl. We'll come barreling through here in a few days. That'll be fun. But also to various ancestral creatures I've seen recently on my morning walks and bike rides, including the fox, blue heron, and a magnificent bald eagle, who has moved into the region. And to all of you, may you see yourself for who you truly are. And I hope to see you again soon. Until then.